Okay, it's Nick Dutch back on the camera yet again one more time. Hi there, how's it going? Just continuing the series on colour. I mean, colour is quite an interesting subject when you think about it from like a mystical or magic-y or religious kind of like state, if you get my drift. What about the colour green? What is the associations with green? There's green on the background of this card at the bottom there. Can you see it? Okay. Green is the heart chakra in the chakra system. Green is the planet Venus in the planetary system. So the heart and Venus are connected for, more reasons than you might think. So if you come across, let's say, a tarot card with more green in it, you'll think to yourself, well, maybe there's a good likelihood that there is some kind of mention within the card of there being some kind of romantic energy, for instance, or indeed love for something or attachment to something. Okay, when people speak of being heartbroken, it's like the connection to the heart chakra is actually being broken because they previously had what they considered to be a sense of connection, and then it gets broken. So this color green, the way it turns up, has got quite a lot of importance to some people, even if it's talking about slow progress in a situation, such as this particular cup card. Okay? Or maybe even the resentfulness and defensiveness of the Princess of Swords there, which is very green dominated, is in fact a relationship message of being defensive so that you can try and get a sense of identity or space, for instance. Okay, there's lots of ways in which the message of the color green can actually be put into place. And also the shade, I mean, from a darker and more passionate green to something a bit lighter, as in this particular, the two of swords there, which is talking about, in this particular case, peace, balance, harmony, tranquility, but also not knowing what's going to happen next, but also maintaining the balance in a very loving, peaceful manner. Have you had a situation when someone tried to restore peace to a situation in a loving manner? Okay? Green is also, the color that we see of the grasses in the fields and the leaves on the trees, meaning of course that the leaves on the trees and the grasses in the field are absorbing the rest of the spectrum, the higher energy violets and blues, and the lower energy powerful warming reds. Okay? So green is quite an efficient color for a plant to have if it wants to get the broadest spectrum. Of course, apart from black, but why aren't plants black? Because then they would absorb too much energy. So that's another reason why green is in the middle. It's about moderation, the middle way, the middle balance. It's quite an interesting color when you look at it from its symbolical point of view. I mean, for some people, they have a myopic, a short-sighted way of looking at the color green. I think it's more worthwhile being broader in its interpretation. Sure, the color of green on the leaves of the trees is one message. The color of green on the ceremonial robe can mean something different, or indeed it could be taking from the same message of the green of leaves from the trees and from the grasses and putting that into the religious point of view. But, it's Venusuvial. It can be speaking about a romantic connection. Green's also used in a different way. I bought this a long time ago now. This is a very simply made charm. I picked it up for about £1 in a psychic fair, something like that. Probably a little overpriced, but never mind. It's just a bit of flintstone with the runic letter Feu written in green. But in this particular context, it's a Malkuthian mention of the color green. It's to do with the earth. It's not to do with Venus, it's to do with the earth, and therefore the physical, the mundane, and of course the financial, because this is actually a money charm, okay? Hasn't worked for me, I'm telling you that for nothing. But its message is different because of the culture it comes from. But also it implies that we can be broader and more creative with colors that we're using. Remember, if you're doing any in inverted commas work in groups, okay, any like ritual or meditation work in groups, and someone is taking you through a color meditation, you're probably going to have some disagreement with that, and that's why it's often good to be able to do your own colour meditations for you to understand the colours yourself, bit by bit with the passage of time. Aleister Crowley suggested that the Tree of Life, the Kabbalistic Tree of Life, was in fact a filing cabinet of your own experiences and your own thoughts and feelings associated with various different labels that were already on the drawers of this mystical filing cabinet. Okay, so, and I think the same is true of colour, because you come to build a relationship with colour itself. It's like the colours build up a personality or character of their own, and this is something that you can get to know and you can get to apply within your own form of mystical work. So the green ray is quite all-embracing. I mean, there are negative aspects to green as well. If you think about mold, for instance, or bacterial growths, or I once rented a room in this place which hadn't been looked after for a long time. Initially I thought the place was great, the building was structurally sound and the rest of it. I moved my stuff in the next day, settled down, and then I opened the fridge. And that was the worst experience of my entire life, because the colour green was all over it, in thick, heavy bacterial mats on the walls of the inside of the fridge. Oh God. It was like an open university science experiment that had gone wrong. So, green can be frightening, or indeed dangerous to your health in some particular aspects. So that's just a few thoughts on the colour green for you today.